Yeah, we were hanging out backstage talking, and I'll tell you, Kylie, when I look at you and
CNN just threatened Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris has a lot of the American people's trust and hopes riding on her shoulders. But what is going to happen if she betrays that trust? Well, in this video, we will be talking about how CNN threatened Kamala Harris due to her rather distasteful decision. Before we press further, please like the video and smash that like button if you are interested in watching videos similar to this one. What's your stance regarding the issue? Tell us all about it in the comment section down below. To start, let's talk a bit about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is probably wanted for her position as a vice president due to her background and stance regarding certain issues. One of the more well-known and common issues would be ones regarding racial discrimination as well as safety protocols for the COVID-19 virus, especially because, according to the leftist, of Trump's rather poorly done work regarding safety from COVID-19, Kamala Harris has probably earned a lot of followers due to how she specifically announced that she wanted to implement a better protocol for keeping people safe from the virus. She is the one who made it a national standard to make people wear masks everywhere they go. Aside from that, she is also known for her stance regarding racial discrimination since she can switch from different ethnic groups like Asian or Jamaican. Then, as a woman, with her being a person of color, she's in the perfect spot to pander to the woke crowd about racism. About the fact that she was appointed by a president who she claimed implemented racist policies only gives her credit since she's a Democrat. Her ethnical division methods were shown especially because of the George Floyd incident in 2020. The entire ordeal increased the number of people who were able to muster their strength to speak up against racial discrimination. Kamala Harris was found to be supportive of the movement. She also went and spoke with the parents of another person of color victim, Jacob Blake, where she stated to NBC News that, and I quote, "I think that there should be a thorough investigation, and based on what I've seen, it seems that the officer should be charged. It is good and all that she's fighting for the sake of the people. However, things now seem to be going a bit off the rails for the vice president." In recent news, the people at CNN have already been attacking her. Harris stated in an interview that she is going to visit Guatemala to get a better grasp of the current situation. However, it turned out to become an even worse situation than what we imagined. This is because Harris ended up messing up her answer to the interview, where she said, "I've said I'm going to the border, and also if we are going to deal with the problems at the border, we have to deal with the problems that cause people to go to the border, to flee to the border." So my first trip as Vice President of the United States was to go to, in terms of a foreign trip, to Guatemala, to be on the ground there to address and to be informed of the root causes. Why are the people of Guatemala leaving? Harris went then pressed even further when Calderon, a Univision anchor, asked Harris, and I quote, "Do you have a date for your trip to the border?" To which Harris responded, "I will keep you posted." This is pretty much where it all started going downhill, because Harris was then accused of not visiting the border at all. However, she was eventually able to travel to Guatemala after all the trouble that she had been through. But it didn't go as well as the masses thought it would have. This is because, after her visit to Guatemala, she then stated that her entire journey to the north was dangerous because it would have benefited human traffickers. It's completely understandable that she wants to maintain a form of power balance between the people of the masses and the people of authority. But this seemed to have worked against her in the end. In the interview that Kamala Harris had with Lester Holt, she was asked about her being absent from the southern border. But this is because she was never at the border in the first place. Harris nervously answers, and I quote, "At some point, we're going to the border. We've been to the border." She redundantly follows it up with, "So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border." To which Holt answered, "You haven't been to the border." Harris seemed to have been offended by that because she then replied, "And I haven't been to Europe. I don't understand the point that you're making." People are now being wary of Kamala Harris' actions, especially because she specifically announced that people will be made to turn back once they actually made it to the border. Apparently, she was tasked by the president himself, Joe Biden, to take action and control the sudden surge of migration at the southern border, yet severely failed. Her trip to Guatemala was also supposed to be a way for her to fix the root causes of the ongoing border incident. There are a lot of potential causes too, since it's not at all surprising for corruption to occur among local governments, as well as the lack of job opportunities in the area. Because of this announcement, however, she ended up somewhat betraying the trust of the people. The main reason for that might be because she openly expressed that she was aiming to solve the root of the problem, but eventually ended up agreeing with the president's order to warn Guatemalans against illegal migration. At the end of the interview, Harris even mentioned that, and I quote, "If you come to our border, you will be turned back." The simple sentence is bound to affect the hearts of a lot of Guatemalan citizens after all that she had said. It has been reported that President Biden specifically chose Vice President Harris to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle, and the countries that help are going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border. He said with all confidence that Harris is the most qualified person to do it. After the trip, however, people immediately realized that she certainly was not the most qualified person to do it, which then fueled quite a bit of criticism from people all over, even the people in her own party. Regarding Kamala Harris' statements, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a representative of the United States, tweeted that, "First, seeking asylum at any U.S. border is a 100% legal method of arrival," which makes it all the more confusing as to why the president and vice president eventually decided to keep people away from the borders. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, followed it up with, "Second, the U.S. spent decades contributing to regime change and destabilization in Latin America. We can't help set someone's house on fire and then blame them for fleeing." All that AOC had mentioned were actually true and accountable, which is why a lot of the American masses are disappointed with how Kamala Harris failed to follow a more human approach regarding the U.S. immigration policy and the issue ongoing at the southern border. And that's it for the video. Want to learn more news regarding the issue with Kamala Harris as well as other related news? Then keep your eyes peeled for the next time we upload a video. What are your thoughts on this development? Do you think Harris could have handled this better? Are you still going to be a Harris reporter after this incident? Tell us all about it in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.